Fox News alert, the Justice Department just indicted Fidel Castro's little brother.
Today, we are announcing an indictment charging Raul Castro and several others with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals.
Raul Castro, one of the last surviving members of the Cuban Revolution, is being charged with conspiracy to kill Americans, destruction of aircraft, and murder. In '96, Havana shot down 2 planes full of Cuban-American exiles leaving Miami who were trying to save their brothers from Castro's clutches.
For nearly 30 years, the families of 4 murdered Americans have waited for justice. They were unarmed civilians and were flying humanitarian missions for the rescue and protection of people fleeing oppression across the Florida Straits. As alleged in the indictment, Raul Castro and 5 co-defendants participated in a conspiracy that ended with Cuban military aircraft firing missiles at those civilian planes and killing 4 Americans.
The Florida grand jury was presented evidence of Raul Castro ordering the hit. U.S. intelligence has him on tape. The President of the United States has a lot of balls in the air, but he's been thinking a lot about that island, 90 miles off our coast.
We have Cuba on our mind, very important. Been a lot of problem for a lot of years, and this was I think it was a very big moment for people that, not only Cuban Americans, but people that came from Cuba that want to go back to Cuba, people that want to see their family in Cuba. I think this is a very big day, very important day.
CIA Director John Ratcliffe was just in Havana last week, meeting with Cuban officials, including Raul's grandson. Ratcliffe gave the Cubans a do-or-die ultimatum. And Rubio's already celebrating Cuban Independence Day. He sent him a message offering the Cuban people an olive branch.
In the U.S., we are ready to open a new chapter in the relationship between our people and our countries. And currently, the only thing standing in the way of a better future are those who control your country.
The USS Nimitz, an aircraft carrier strike group, has just arrived in the Caribbean on the same day as the Castro indictment. What a coincidence. U.S. Southern Command says this is just a regularly scheduled exercise, just doing drills with some of our South American allies. Yeah. Or there's a chance that Castro's about to get Maduro'd. Havana could fall at any time because the regime's not getting free oil from Venezuela. The island's suffering from blackouts 23 out of 24 hours a day. Communism wrecked what used to be a paradise.
What's coming next for Cuba?
Well, we're going to see. It's a failing nation. You see that. It's falling apart. They have no oil. They have no money. It's a failing nation, so I just can't tell you that. But we're there to help.
This time, we don't have to worry about the Russians. Putin has his own problems. His war in Ukraine's going nowhere. And he's hiding from assassins. He just dipped into Beijing for a little powwow. The Russian leader wants to set up an oil pipeline to China because he lost a lot of European customers, and Xi lost Iran and Venezuela. But the two can't agree on price. Trump's keeping an eye on him.
Well, he told me he was going to. I think it's good. I get along with both of them, but I think it's good. I don't know if the ceremony was quite as brilliant as mine. I watched. I think we topped them.
The day Vlad landed, the U.S. Marines and Japanese test-fired some mobile defense rockets. They call it a shoot-and-scoot drill, just to make sure the Ruskies and Chi-Coms know we're ready. The United States has our eyes open. Airstrikes in Nigeria have killed over 175 ISIS fighters, including their top guy. U.S. Africa Command says they even discovered Mexican cartels on the continent.
In this time, 11 of the 12 drug labs that have been interdicted have had Mexican cartel members on site, to include the largest drug lab that had ever been disrupted in South Africa. That there were Sinaloa cartel members on site.
What's the destination of those drugs?
Those drugs are destined for the Middle East, for Europe, but we're also seeing them then come in through the northern route back into America. As we have applied pressure on the southern border, they're finding other means to bring those drugs into our nation.
The Iranians are in their caves taking a lot of notes.
Right now, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're respected all over the world. You saw that with China just recently. You saw that in Venezuela. You saw that right now in Iran. Everything's gone. Their Navy's gone. Their Air Force is gone. Just about everything. The only question is, do we go and finish it up, or are they going to be signing a document? Let's see what happens.
The president earlier this week was an hour away from restarting the war. And the word on the street is the military was not effing around. That's a quote with this bombing campaign. It was going to be ruthless. The commander-in-chief gave peace another chance, but those targets are still staring us in the face.
Where does that stand today? Have you heard anything from them?
It's right on the borderline, believe me. If we don't get the right answers, it goes very quickly. We're all ready to go. We have to get the right answers. It would have to be a complete 100% good answers. And if we do, we save a lot of time, energy, and lives.
And this just in. The president is saying he's going to be making a very big announcement on Iran in the next 24 hours. Axios is reporting that Trump and Netanyahu had a dramatic and lengthy phone call. President Trump reportedly told the Israeli leader that he's on the cusp of a deal to formally end the war and launch a 30-day period of negotiations over the nuke program and the Strait. The Pakistanis and Qataris are the middlemen shuttling proposals back and forth. One source saying Netanyahu's hair was on fire after the call. But POTUS says he's got it under control.
He'll do whatever I want him to do, and he's a great guy. To me, he's a great guy. Don't forget, he was a wartime prime minister, and he's not treated right in Israel, in my opinion. I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister, so maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister.
Sources are saying Trump's not sending a delegation to Islamabad if the Iranians don't agree ahead of time to our terms. No enrichment and open the Strait. Trump says if they don't agree to that, things are going to get a little bit nasty. But these Iranians are impossible. You can't even get them to agree to talk about what you're supposed to talk about. The president has a lot more patience than most.
I never
Tired of the back and forth with
never
Iran?
get tired. But what I like to do, if I can save war by waiting a couple of days, if I can save people being killed by waiting a couple of days, I think it's a great thing to do.
The Iranians are cornered, wicked, and cunning. They've been burning diplomats for decades. But now they're at their weakest point in history, and they're under tremendous economic pressure. The generals don't trust them and think it's time for bridge and power plant day.
We all know that President Trump is what I refer to as the backstop. He's not going to take a bad deal. He's not going to accept something that doesn't meet his objectives. My point is, I don't think there's any chance these guys are going to put something on the table. It's been 6 weeks. That's going to accept it. And let's get on with what we need to do and finish this once and for all.
The president's hoping economic fury will make him tap. The blockade's in full effect. The enemy is gasping. The president gave a commencement speech to the Coast Guard cadets today in Connecticut and gave the boys a nice shout out.
You have this young, handsome captain saying, do not proceed further. You are in enemy territory. Do not proceed further or we will shoot. And last week you saw one shot, not a missile shot, a bullet, a very large bullet. A bullet from 4 miles hit the rudder of the ship. And the rudder of the ship fell into the ocean. It was a beautiful thing to see. And the man said, no, no, we are going back to Iran.
Earlier today in the Gulf of Oman, Marines from the 31st Expeditionary Unit boarded another Iranian blockade runner, the MT Celestial Sea. Now it's property of Uncle Sam, and so's the crude. The blockade's about to turn around 100 ships. The president has a message for our sailors. Don't give up. Ever.
Let me leave you with a few words of advice to maybe help you a little bit on your way. First, most important, never, ever give up. Never give up. They ask me, how do you be successful, sir? Starts with never give up. I've learned a lot about life, but the one thing I've really learned is that perseverance, never quitting, never giving up is a big deal. No matter how terrible the storm, no matter how difficult the mission, never surrender.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.